when somebody asks you to do something and you say yes, but inside you're like, you have to learn how to listen to that. First, listen, hear it, then listen to it and do something. I have this sweatshirt. It says, stress. What happens when your gut says no, but your mouth says, of course, I'd be glad to.
Welcome to the Lara Jane Layton Show. This podcast is for you, the person who keeps putting others first. Your self-talk has held you back. You no longer need to take a second seat. Let's explore ways to overcome self-doubt. You can silence that inner bully voice and achieve your full potential. Here's your host, Lara Jane.
Welcome to the show, friend. My new best friend, Dr. Jill, is with us today, and I am here at Potapalooza with some of my best friends. And today, Jill's going to talk to us about when we bite off more than we can chew. I bet you've never had those moments when you have so much on your plate and more to do. You're already full, and you realize you're not even on your plate. Jill, help me get myself back on my plate. But before we get started, I need to get a quick word from our sponsor. When we come back, Jill, help me. We'll be right back.
Hey, since I rarely have openings in my coaching schedule, I have a new resource out there on my website. It is called the BFF Coaching Network. And I have offered a spot there for any coach that has been on the show to list their coaching. You can go out there, you can listen to their episodes, you can feel a little bit about them, and then choose a coach that will work for you. So LaraJaneLayton.com, the BFF Coaching Network.
All right, Jill, help me.
Okay. I should probably start by telling you that I do, in fact, know about what happens when you bite off more than you can chew. I spent 35 years as a really busy physician. And so my identity was very much built around helping other people, fixing everything and, being the person everybody could rely on. But, I was carrying a lot at work and at home. I was a caregiver for my husband who had Alzheimer's disease. I was raising a teenage daughter, traveling back and forth to the East Coast to help care for my aging parents and losing them ultimately. And so I did what a lot of women do, which is I just held it together. I just did all the stuff and I didn't question it. I just kept going because that's what we do until my health fell apart. So I needed foot surgery for a longstanding problem. And while I was on leave recovering from that, I found my breast lump. So that's what happens when you bite off more than you can chew. And then somebody starts adding stuff onto that plate. And so that everything stopped, right? Because cancer, right? You have to stop. So I couldn't push through the same way. And what I began to see for myself and later my clients is that what looks like strength on the outside is a pattern often of overgiving and just overriding the signals from your body. And that has a cost. And so the answer to, you got to stop putting stuff on your plate.
But there's so much stuff out there. Everywhere I go, somebody's saying, hey.
Right. And so one of the things that you need to do, and this is very hard for women, especially, much harder for women than for men, is you have to learn how to say no. And you have to learn how to set some boundaries. And sometimes those boundaries you have to set are with yourself. And learning how to say no is it's really scary for a lot of women.
Someone once told me, say yes to yourself. If you can't say no, then at least switch it around and say yes to you.
Yeah, and that's hard for women. Even when the wheels have fallen off the cart, right? And they're just dragging along. The women, they might be having chemotherapy and they're still trying to do everything for everybody else. And whatever your issue is. We all have a lot of stuff. Like Rosanna Dan. It's always something, right? So everybody has something, and we have to learn, when somebody asks you to do something and you say yes, but inside you're like, you have to learn how to listen to that. First listen, hear it, then listen to it and do something. I have this sweatshirt. It doesn't fit anymore, but it says stress. What happens when your gut says no, but your mouth says, of course, I'd be glad to.
I love that. I mean, I
Isn't that
hate
great?
it,
I
but
know,
it's
but
so
it's
real.
true. It's true.
Yeah.
And so that's what we have to learn how to do. And it's hard.
God, what was your first steps towards saying yes to you?
It was very hard for me to learn. It was very hard. Um, I was always like, for me, like, even accepting help was hard, let alone, God forbid, asking for it. Um, but it turns out that it's a really good thing to do. And I think some of the things that help are if you realize, like, when you think about how you feel when you help someone, you feel good. And it turns out that helping, whether you are the helper or the helpee, we'll just make up some words. All sorts of really good neurotransmitters and chemicals are released in your body. So both the person who's helping and the person who is being helped are benefiting, like, biologically, physiologically. But when you think about how you feel, and then if you can, like, port that over and think, well, this other person, you can give them the gift of helping you, of letting somebody help you. And
Yeah,
if you
how did we learn that being helped was weak? It's like, if I get help, then I'm not strong enough to do it all on my own. I know that's something I was taught, and I don't,
Yes.
maybe by example, because I don't know if I ever remember hearing it, but it definitely was clear that you just help others and you don't take care
Yeah.
of yourself.
Especially, if you're a girl, right? A little girl, we follow the rules, we help everybody. And the answer to this is really, I mean, we have to go back to evolution for the answer to why this happens. What happens is, when you are, and these patterns come from year 2, 3 years old. When you're very little, your survival depends on your parents, your family, your community, depends on survival depends on the tribe, the clan. And so we need to be accepted into that. And so anything that we do that puts that at risk triggers really, like, evolutionary alarms. And so as very young children, we are taught that we have to help, and we have to be good, and we have to follow the rules, and we have to do all these things in order to be accepted. And so what that does is, it just takes boundaries and it just crushes them into the ground.
As you said that, it's like, oh my gosh, you're right. Because as a little child, when you don't know how to put on your socks and you figure out how to put on your socks, oh, you're such a big girl. I'm so proud of you. And then again, when you're putting on your shoes and doing the dishes or cleaning your room, it's look at a big girl you are. I'm so proud of you. Never are they so proud of us when we asked for help.
Right, but here's the flip side too, okay? This is like, if you take that and you look at it from another point of view, it's part of how we as women, particularly, end up doing everything for everybody. Um, we get into this thing, like, if we can do it faster or better than the other person, that we just take ownership of it, right? So, and I realized a long time ago that, if I did everything I could do faster or better, that meant I would be doing everything. So I had to let go of some of that. But, we often say you've got that 2-year-old who is learning how to get dressed, or the 5-year-old who's learning how to tie shoes. This is, before the Velcro days. Um, but I'm 67 and I remember learning how to tie my shoes when I was 5. So, I mean, these things stick. But if you have kids and you're battling with that 2-year-old to get them dressed, and that it's going to be a struggle, but you could get them dressed in 5 minutes. And if they do it, it's going to take an hour and a half. And you got to get them out the door so you can go to work, right? You got to drop them off at daycare or whatever. There's a tendency to just do it.
Mhm.
The problem is when we take over these things, then the kid doesn't learn how to do it. So we are robbing them of that experience and learning, even though we think we're just like getting it done. And we do the same thing at work, right? How much work do people take on, um, that instead of empowering somebody to learn something new and taking it off our plate, we disempower them by doing it for them. And then they don't learn how to do it, and we're just stuck, like, the plate is, like, and that's how we bite off more than we can chew.
Wow. That's true. Sometimes it takes so much time to teach somebody how to do something. I mean, most of us have tried to teach our children to do dishes, and it's so much faster to do it yourself than to sit there and re or even rewash because they didn't quite do them like
Or
you wanted them. All these things, and as we're
Yeah,
taking those on in the workplace, just because you can do it faster or you can do it better, you're gonna be stuck doing that forever, and you haven't
right.
helped anybody learn how to be your helper.
Exactly, and so it's really important to learn that. It's really important to take hold of that idea that letting somebody learn how to do something is giving them a gift, and it's giving you a gift, and letting somebody help you is giving them a gift and giving you a gift. And um, that that's hard for a lot of women, but it's important to learn. This, if I want it done right, I have to do it myself, right? It doesn't. It just ends up hurting everybody.
That's funny because I'm an Instacart shopper. I don't bother going to the grocery store, but let me tell you, you must learn a lot about people not doing it your way. And you learn to put the instructions in and to breathe when it comes in wrong because it's more important to me to have the help and not spend that 2 hours at the grocery store than to go do it myself. And so it's like,
Yeah.
what is that thing that you can offload? If you've got too much, what is the thing you don't like to do? Clean the bathrooms. I know a lot of my friends hate to clean the bathrooms. That's the one thing that's easy to get help for. You just hire
Yeah.
somebody and it's not that much money. It's like we're professionals. It's okay to offload the yucky jobs.
Yeah, and you get to decide, one person's yuck is another person's yum, right? So, like, during COVID, I had to order groceries because I had taken my husband home from assisted living, and I could not take him to the grocery store. I couldn't take him anywhere. And so I had to order groceries, but it was really, it was a challenge. And once I was able to go back to the store, I like doing my grocery shopping. It only takes me half an hour when I'm there or less because I actually eat whole food plant-based. So like 95% of what I buy is just right in the produce section by the door. And then I go buy some soy milk and maybe some bread. So
Uh-huh.
it's really quick. And for me, it's worth it to shop because I'm picking produce.
Mhm.
But So, like, that's more my yum, and it's not the yuck. But there are things that, like, gardening, black thumbed, like, that's just not my thing. And so I think it's really, for some people, it's really like, if you have something you hate, that's a lot easier for people to delegate. But they get in trouble with the things they don't mind, or
Mhm.
the things that they like but aren't their zone of excellence or their zone of genius, maybe. And um they just they get stuck there. And it's hard to set boundaries, and it's not that they don't know they need to do it, it's just it's scary because of how they were,
Yeah.
the subconscious beliefs that they picked up when they were little.
Yeah, those beliefs there, and we do need to learn to change our belief window and take on your new. You get to pick. That is the coolest thing about being an adult. You get to pick what you believe and what you don't believe and what you do and what you don't do. So I think this is amazing, Jill. Thank you so much for helping us today find out what's too much on our plate and how we get rid of it. But before we end, could you tell our friend a little bit about you, how to get a hold of you, and then what is that one thing they should try this week?
Um, that one thing that they should try this week is saying no to something. And it might be like, the way to do it would be to put yourself in the other person's shoes and just realize that if you say no, they probably won't hate you, right? They won't get mad. They won't like you less. So that would be like, take a baby step of saying no to something. And they can find me at my website, which is drjillrosenthal.com. And I have a gift for your people, and it's called How to Say No Without Negativity or Guilt.
Mhm.
10 Ways to Gain Respect While Asserting Your Boundaries. And they can find that at drjillgift.com/no. So just DRJILL gift as one word, .com/no. And of course, I'll send you that.
That sounds amazing. I think I need that gift. I'm gonna be there. So friend, remember all these links and information is down in the show notes. If you weren't able to write it down while she was talking, just jump down there in the show notes and they'll be there. But thank you, Jill, so much for joining. Friend, I am not a licensed medical or mental professional. I'm just here for entertainment. Someone who's been down a tough path and would like to see you go down the smoothest path possible. So thank you for joining and stay tuned for the next episode. All right, we're done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you tired of waking up exhausted? You are not alone. If you're looking to take your life back, let's start with the simple step of adjusting your self-talk. Stay tuned for the next episode with your host, Lara Jane. Remember to follow the show so you don't miss a next simple step that you can use to feel more confident. And please leave an honest review.